Here we are, y'all. We are entering into a new phase. This is the build phase. We're in the rest week going into the build phase. So this is kind of like a deload week, even though we are starting this new cycle of things. Still within the prep quarter, obviously, still within the rest year. And our average for this week, for the numbers, for the parameters, is a 2-1-1. So everything's pretty low, little scaled back. But as you will see, because we are moving into this new phase, that we are going to start getting a little bit more specific and subtly, even though the test is still the same, the 20 rep max squat, bench, and deadlift, and that is the primary focus. But knowing that moving into summertime, we are going to be transitioning into a 10 rep max snatch and clean and jerk total. So with that intention, we'll subtly start to play with that a little bit within the program just to build that base for that. But again, right now, the focus is that 20 rep max. All right, so let's take it away, Coach TJ.
All right, so weakness day, we've got a 4-3-1. Like you said, getting a little bit more specific. So moving just a little bit away from what we had been doing, but again, just trying to, again, get the mode for what's coming up next. So the first thing is we've got a muscle snatch from the low blocks. All right, so just obviously ripping it. Muscle snatch is very great for like just working on that turnover, being connected to the bar, right? I myself in the past have struggled with like just kind of losing the connection, ways you turn over for this, and a lot of people do. It's not, maybe some of you do, but the muscle snatch is a great exercise to kind of just focus on that extension, focus on getting all the way to the top and finishing over. So from that low block position is another great because you have less time. There's less time to think about it and worry, and you just got to rip it, right? 4x6 at a 1. So a little bit lighter, but trying to go quick, trying to focus on that finish, okay? Next, we have a front squat. Getting you guys ready for those squats, right? 4x6 at a 1 once again. So obviously, if mobility, like the front rack is like kind of like the limiting factor, and that starts to get tired pretty quick. So just making sure that we're staying locked in, going lighter weight, especially get a few warm-up sets in and kind of get those wrists and the front rack a little warmed up, and then ready to go. And then tire flips, running those back 4x6. So kind of try to go a little quick with those. Try to go 6, basically in a row, and take a break in between those sets, and then we'll be good to go.
Did you see the bamboo bar?
I totally skipped that. Whoops. And then for specifics for the bench, all right, we got the bamboo bar, right? Some of you maybe have never used it before. It's that long, kind of like, kind of loose, not loose, but, kind of flimsy looking brown bar that kind of just helps you kind of like, it's imbalanced, kind of almost like using like a Bosu ball. So it's kind of going to help you kind of like stay connected. Maybe if it's too light, we can throw those like the bands on the end with some weights, all that stuff. There's ways to, it's going to be definitely kind of stimulate the nervous system. It'll be good. So once again, that's 4x6 as well. All right, Coach Nate's got specific day.
All right, specific day. So it's a 3-2-1. So we're just going to have 3 different exercise blocks. And being that it is specific, it's pretty easy. We're going to do a back squat, bench press, and a deadlift. So all 3x2 for each one of those. Yes, it still is at a 1, but being that it's only 2 reps, should still be able to start inching the weight up a little bit. And the cool thing with these specific days is because the reps are obviously way lower than 20, we get to use a little heavier weight, which actually primes the body for going into the 20 rep max. If you can imagine, just as an extreme, if you were doing like a 1 rep max, then doing a drop set, because your body just got used to doing that really heavy weight, when you go to do the lighter weight, it'll actually feel even lighter because your body was primed with the heavier weight. So that's a little bit of the idea there is, yes, it is a 1, but less reps, so we get a little heavier stimulus, and then that primes for the 20 rep max as the test on Saturday. Cool. Strength day.
Strength day. We did not touch the clean or the jerk on weakness day, so we're going to hit just 1 somewhat heavy, right, clean and jerk on Wednesday. Again, 2, obviously the next step beyond the 1, so should be, pushing it, and only got 1 set, 1 rep, so you might as well not send it, but like it's going to be, like it should be, a good solid stimulus, okay? And then the next day is technique, so just some extra bar work if you'd like. It is a deload, so in the energy of a deload, like again, just want to move your body. It could be more of like even an active recovery type of day. If the weather's nice, you go outside, move the body. But again, we are kind of scaling things back in the spirit of a deload, so no pressure to kind of like beat yourself up anymore. And then we got accessory day.
So all right, accessory day. It's a 2-2-1. So again, we'll have 2 main exercise blocks, a 2 out of 5 density. So overall, pretty lower on the volume, but it is accessory day. So typically on those days, we do open up and do more bodybuilding, conditioning, strongman kind of thing, things that are typically going to be a little bit more of a higher rep scheme. So first thing, we'll have a superset with a suitcase carry, which is just, it's a carry with one arm. So you'll do that 100 feet per side. So down one side, switch, go back if you're on the turf at East Race Muscle. And then you're gonna superset that with 100 feet of walking lunges. You'll have 2 rounds of that. It's a 1 intensity, so you might end up doing relatively lightweight and just body weight for the lunges. And then the second superset, we're going to do check press, kneeling on the Swiss ball. So the way that I would approach that if I can't kneel on the Swiss ball yet is to maybe just at first, before even starting the circuit, just play around with it, get a feel, do a little practice to see maybe you can start to move in that direction, especially still continuing with the coordination test, which after doing the novelty test, that will be the next test coming up very soon. So in the spirit of the coordination test, that's why we are incorporating this, because level 3 of that is kneeling on the Swiss ball. So again, practice a little bit with it, but if you can't get it, no worries. Then just move to seated on the Swiss ball, okay? So check press, kneeling on the Swiss ball, and then you're gonna superset that with ABC planks on the Swiss ball. So that's where, we all know what a plank is, but your forearms are going to be on the Swiss ball, feet on the ground, and then this is going to be 1 minute per each exercise, 2 rounds. So check press, 1 minute total, and then on the ABC Swiss ball, 1 minute total. But you are going to be going through your ABCs, drawing them with the Swiss ball. And then obviously, if you can't make it that far, you can take a little break and then finish your minute, or you could potentially go to your knees if you need to scale it back. And that is accessory day.
All right, and the test is the test is the test. All right, 20 rep max, squat, bench press, and deadlift at a 3. So again, just chipping away, right? Chipping away. Like, even if it doesn't always look like I'm adding weight to what I'm doing, which is, I mean, ideal, sure, to an extent, but maybe depending on how we're feeling, it's just, can I get these reps a little quicker, a little smoother? Can I my form be a little less, can I be a little sharper, a little more consistent, right? Like we try to have, we have parameters and values that we try to use to measure progress, which that's what they're there for. But even sometimes it's a feel, you know what I mean? And then this time, if you use the same weight, is it easier? Is it harder? You know what I mean? So there's go into it, warming up really well, planning to obviously try to do better than last week. But of course, take yourself where you're at and just, get through it and do the best you can, really. 20 reps max, all 3 of those. And then native plant flashcards,
Yep. Still, those are placeholders. Soon, very soon. We've got them coming for you, because those are going to be critical for the quest coming up. Which the quest, the treasure in the forest, that is the culmination of this cycle, y'all. So we are getting ready for that. And I do want to have one little note with the 20 rep max. So being that this is a rest week going into a new phase, how we have these little mini cycles, sometimes it can be good to then intentionally take a little bit of a step back. And being that, we're in this peak week as we're recording this, which I believe, if I remember, is a 4 out of 5. It may even be a 5, I don't quite remember, but it's a higher intensity. So you're probably, you're really going to be pushing it this current week or the previous week, of which would have been the peak week. But now moving into this new phase, like I said, it can be a good time to, okay, let me take 1 step back so that I can set myself up to take 2 steps forward. going through the build phase. So again, that might look like just doing the same weight. That still might look like that you are going up a little bit, but maybe just because things have been feeling better, but maybe the intention is, I'm just going to take this a little slower, maybe a couple extra warm-ups, whatever that might be. Just that intention of, okay, let me one little breath back, and then that way you can build momentum. So there's these little cycles within the cycles within the cycles that are happening. All right? And then obviously on Sunday, the Lord rested. So Sunday we rest, and then we pick it back up again. So there it is, my friends. Continuing this journey on this lovely game of life that we are playing. Whoops. That's for you if you heard that. Boy, had a nice smoothie.
Gotta give my man some new pants. Gotta get him some new pants at this point. Hey,
all right, friends.
Love you guys. Just keep moving forward. Proud of y'all. Keep showing up. See you later.